Hi, and welcome to The Single Parent, brought to you by Christ Our Shepherd Ministries. I am La Petite Dece, and I'm your host for this segment of the show. This is a very, very sensitive show, and it's a subject matter that most of us don't want to talk about, and it's the loss of a loved one. We here at Single Parent, Christ Our Shepherd Ministries, we are focusing on fresh perspectives and real solutions. And the topic for today is single parenting through loss. And we're very, very blessed, very fortunate that Cheryl Steigler agreed to come and share her story. Her husband passed of a massive heart attack suddenly. And I'm going to get Cheryl to share the story, leaving 3 daughters behind, ranging from the age, now they're 9, 12, and 14. Cheryl, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Tell the audience a little about Rick and how long you guys were married.
Okay.
And if you'd like to share, your heart about your relationship, that would be great.
Rick and I were married up in New York in 1988 after dating for a couple of years. Had a beautiful wedding, great family, friends, everybody was there. Several years after being married, we decided to have children. And we had 2 little girls living up in New York, and he had a job opportunity to move to Charlotte. And my daughters were at the time a year and 2.5. So we thought, you know what, Charlotte seems like a beautiful city. We don't know anybody down there.
Bible Belt.
But if anything, if worse comes to worse, if it doesn't work out, we'll move back to New York where all our friends and family.
Yes.
So we took the plunge and we moved south and got a house. Started really adapting, meeting friends, and got in a community, a church community that we were absolutely were blessed to be surrounded. And I believe God puts you in places for a reason, and this was part of our journey.
Yes, He does.
This was all part of it.
Yes.
So we were here and had another daughter during all this. In the year 2000, my 3rd daughter was born. So we had 3 girls, and we were just very busy, young parents.
Sure.
He had a very, very busy career. He was busy, and so we just young couple having the dream.
Yes, the babies, the home.
The babies, the home,
the move,
planning, bigger home,
everything
retirement.
seemed to be in place.
Absolutely. And so in 2004, well, actually it was the December before, his friend decided that they were going to run in the Boston Marathon. So Rick
had he been running previously?
He was always a runner. He was always a runner, not distance. He was on track and things like that.
Okay.
But it was a challenge.
Sure,
You can do a marathon.
Sure, yes.
I'm
that extra
young.
push.
I can,
Sure.
Absolutely. So he was also doing it for a charity, which was a wonderful opportunity for him to have money donated to a hospital if he ran and how many miles and so forth.
Wow, what a great
So that was
heart.
so it was an incentive for him to train. So during one of his long distance training, he was on an 18-mile run with 3 of the friends, and he had a sudden heart attack at that time.
Wow.
And it was sudden, and I thank God for that,
Yes.
that he did not have any suffering.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there. I was traveling, coming home. So I had to get that phone call while I was up in Connecticut.
Wow.
My mother-in-law, thank God, was here with my daughters. He was helping Rick during that week I was away. So I think, again, everything was where it needed to be for that day, that his mom was there, I was coming home, and my daughters were surrounded by people who love them.
Sure.
So in an instant, life changes.
Life changes, yes.
So that was 5 years ago. I was a single mom with a 3.5-year-old.
Yes. And what do you tell the girls?
Oh,
that conversation, because
it was very hard. It was very, because they didn't understand.
Of course not.
So that was very hard to do.
Because dads are like the shield. They're like the natural.
And they're looking at me.
Yes.
And I'm looking back at them thinking, oh, I don't know. But I do believe God has a journey for all of us. And sometimes it gets a little changed.
And sometimes we don't have the answers.
And I had no idea.
Know why.
Exactly. And I kept saying, how am I going to do this? Oh my gosh, I can't do this. I was surrounded just by people that, again, no family here. I've got all friends. And I just didn't, I looked at them, what am I going to do? And met with my past priest, my Monsignor, thank God for him.
Good.
And he sat and he said, Cheryl, my best advice is don't do anything drastic the first year, because you're in a fog right now and you're going to make some really big decisions. Give it a year. Just let things happen. I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to that.
Okay.
And I look back and I thought, okay, that was wonderful advice, because
So-
I was in such a fog. I had to get up every morning because I had,
You
make
had
me
girls.
pancakes, get me ready for
Sure.
school, and I had to.
Yes.
I had no choice.
Yes,
And
you had
I
to
look
keep the girls
back, that
motivated.
was my blessing, because I don't think I would have done that
Without the girls.
without the girls. So
Without the
they
girls.
got me up every morning, and so for a year we maintained.
Okay.
Somebody said, "Are you going to move back to home?" I'm like, "Well, this is
You've
our
established
home.
a home here.
This is my home."
Yes.
And no, I'm not moving back up to New York or to Connecticut. We're going to stay here for that year, and I'm just going to
Wow.
see how things turn out.
A newfound strength that you
Oh,
probably
I did.
didn't know you had.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely. I can't even tell you how many times before my husband passed away, my friends' husbands traveled. And I used to say, how do you do that?
How do you do that?
How do you not have it? Well, and so you just do.
Yes, you do what you have to
by
do.
the grace of God, it
Yes.
just, something just lifts you up, and you just do it. And so, and I had friends, amazing community of friends, angels all around me. My church
Yes.
community, my priest, the school. My
Wow.
children go to a Catholic school, and they were just
Okay.
surrounded by that faith, and I just got each day, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
And 5 years later, here we are,
Yes.
and we've survived.
And let me ask you, because I'm certain we have men and women at this moment in time that may have just lost a loved one, or they may be stuck in that fog that Cheryl just mentioned. What do you tell the kids?
Yeah.
I mean, what conversations did you have with your girls? Because
Well,
I'm sure that's very difficult. You
it
really
was.
don't know
It
what to
was.
say. How did God lead you, or what?
Well, that was hard because I knew I couldn't lie to my children.
Sure.
I couldn't say never.
Sure.
God would never, because my
Sure.
daughter at one time
Couldn't say-
said, "Are you going to die next, Mommy?" 'Cause in their head.
Oh, wow.
And that just blew me away. I thought, oh my gosh, okay, let me get all the books out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I have all these books people gave
Right.
me. There's got to be that answer there.
Yeah,
And I
I
said,
know.
you know what? I can't lie to my children.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I sat her down. I said, you know what? God has a plan, and He wants me to take care of you right now.
Yes. Yes.
And that's our plan.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I can promise you I'm going to do the best.
Yes, and no weapon formed against us will
But
prosper.
she's looking
We'll
at it.
get
And what
through it.
was hard, because he left that morning for a run. So that's how they remember it. So when in the very beginning, every
When
time
you
I
would
left, they watching.
Devastated.
They
They
were
didn't
watching the
wonder if
clock,
you were
and I
coming
had
back.
when I said I'll be back in an hour and a half. Mommy has to do. She watched, and they watched, and I knew that fear.
That fear.
And I had to respect that, because in their head, that's what happened when their daddy
with
passed
Dad,
away.
Yes.
So I had to be honest. I mean, I wasn't brutally honest, obviously. I wanted to protect
Right,
them.
because
My
you're
3.5-year-old didn't.
She didn't
was,
know what was going on.
She didn't.
Sure.
But my older two were very, they were asking more questions. I tried to help them with a lot of the answers. I had them go to support groups in
Good
the
for you.
beginning.
Good for you. Let me ask you about any complications. Did Rick have any heart complications, heart disease, any tumors, any irregular heartbeats that
Nothing.
you? Wow.
He was in perfect health. He was not a smoker. He was eating well. He was training for a marathon.
And that's
And you know, as I look back, I try to do all this. Oh, what did I miss something?
yes,
He was
of
probably
course.
tired, because he
Yes.
was getting up at 4 in the morning, doing his runs, coming back, showering, going to work. He probably was tired. Now, whether he was thinking, well, maybe I'm not well, or it's because I'm running, and never shared any of that with me.
Okay.
He never had any past problems,
Wow.
physicals and things like Nothing ever
Nothing
came
ever
up.
came up.
So it was
Suddenly.
a very shock to all of us.
Wow.
So it's something
is-
that I have daughters,
Yes.
and I have to be smart about this now with them.
Sure, yes. And then you're taking the steps. I mean,
have
really
to.
being
I
there
have to.
and telling the girls, I'll be back in an hour, and if you're not
Absolutely.
back, making that
I
phone
have
call.
physicals. We
sure.
all have physicals.
Good for you.
I
Good
have-
for you.
I went
that's
and did all of
wise.
that.
That's very wise.
Well, I need to